1% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't lived the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get pumped, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in a Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the Hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters don't move, whatever click you.
All right, so let's go, man. So listen, this is the video Dubs has been demanding that I bring you guys, and this has been the evidence Dubs has been demanding that I produce. Okay, so a couple days ago, I did a video called Evidence Dubs Told on the Legends, right? Dubs is saying he did not. He is saying that it's basically imperative that I bring this information forward, right? So check it out, man. Let's get into the meaning of evidence, right? In legal terms, evidence is any information, material, testimony, or object that is presented to help prove or disprove a fact, right? This is what I'm saying, right? I have evidence that Dubs told on the legends. This is what Dubs is saying.
The other day, Chill put out a video, and he said that he had all the black and white, that I had told on legends, right? Then I called him on it. I know I've never told on anybody. I have, it's bona fide, okay? But this dude, the seriousness of the accusation, I said, put it out there. It's a lawsuit, guys. The same lawsuit that's been on the internet for years now. A lawsuit I filed against doctors at Pelican Bay.
And he admitted that, yes, he did file a lawsuit. So I pretty much think that he is stipulating that this information is 100% legit, which it is. This is coming directly from the Pacer website. So without further delay, let's get into it. Okay, so you just seen Dubs say that, yes, he did file a civil lawsuit. So I don't believe that he's going to contest that any of this is not legit, right? This is not paperwork somebody has sent to me or whatever, right? This is not false created documents. I am on the Pacer website, screen recording directly from the Pacer website. The Pacer website stands for Public Access to Court Electronic Records. Now, briefly, before we get into this, the reason that this declaration was necessary because Dubs is having a civil trial in Northern California. I believe Oakland, but Northern California somewhere. Currently at the time, he was in a prison in Ironwood, which was deep Southern California, right? And so he's requesting transportation safely to this place so he can deal with this civil proceeding that he has going on. This declaration, according to him, was necessary because on previous trips, they placed him in the company of general population convicts and they jeopardized his life. So that is the reason he is making this declaration. He's asking to be transported safely so he can complete the proceedings, right? So now let's get into this. This is not something that was written by his lawyer. This is straight from him. I, John D. Villa, declare I am an inmate in the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, currently housed at Ironwood State Prison. My CDCR number is J38001. I have personal knowledge of the following and can competently testify to the contents of this declaration if called as a witness. I am a validated gang dropout with an SNY prison classification. As a validated gang dropout, I am targeted to be murdered by the Mexican mafia and their associates because of my dropout status. Now, let me make this clear. He is doing this declaration for this civil suit, but he has already dropped out. He's not telling on these individuals for this civil suit. He has previously already done that. I believe this is jumping off in, can we get the date? Yes, 2012 is when this proceeding is going on. He PC'd up in 2005 and debriefed way before this incident. So don't get confused or let him confuse you. Once again, yes, this is for a civil trial, but he dropped out and debriefed before that. He did not debrief for this civil trial. Now let's go on to line 3. The Mexican Mafia is the most violent gang faction in California, credited with at least 300 murders per year outside prison on orders that they were issued by the Mexican Mafia. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I find that a little weird where he will not mention the Mexican Mafia in his YouTube videos, but he has no problem mentioning them in documents and lawsuits and things of that nature. Now, listen, this is extremely important right here. Line number 4, so we argue no more. I said line number 4, so we argue no more. I was granted SNY classification by the CDCR because, in part, I went through a debriefing process where I incriminated myself and the Mexican Mafia.
And our business, that issue is our business and belongs in prison. I have never, ever told on anybody. Did I incriminate myself? Yes. And that's as far as it's going to go.
Now, you just see in that video, if I haven't showed you yet, I will show you. He's saying, I said he told on the legends. No, I didn't say it. You said it. I'm just reiterating what you said. He says, I went through a debriefing process where I incriminated myself and the Mexican Mafia. Now, earlier in a couple of videos, I brought you guys a video where he said, did I incriminate myself? Yes, but I have never told on anybody else. If we look up the word incriminate, we will see that the word incriminate means to make someone seem guilty of something. And that something is something illegal. So he says, I incriminated myself and the Mexican Mafia, which is why he was granted SNY classification, right? Many of us have heard Dub say, a half truth is a whole lie. I have seen him complain about people omitting things. And didn't he omit in that video? He stopped short. He says, yes. Did I incriminate myself? Yes. I have never told on anybody. Did I incriminate myself? But he stopped at saying he also incriminated the Mexican Mafia. Now, come on, man. People out there that ride with Dubs, I know I'm not telling you to stop riding with him. I'm not telling you do not support the man or be entertained, but let's call a ball and a strike a strike. Dubs will try to play semantic word games and all that, but you are clearly telling. I've never said his telling on somebody got a person sent to prison, got person time, any of all that, right? He told, though, the title of my video was Evidence That Dubs Told on Legends. Here it is right here. I mean, I don't really see what the discussion is about. Is this not evidence? Anytime you are involved in a gang, a street organization, a prison organization, so on and so forth, you are not supposed to give law enforcement any type of evidence. See, he was banking on the fact that he knows 100%. He knows that his debriefing packet is closed, is sealed. Nobody will ever have a chance to even peek at what he said. He knows that is something that will always be safe. But I guess he forgot when he filed this lawsuit that he made this decree. Let's go back up to the top. This is a decree by Dubs. Now listen, for those of you guys who may not legally know what a decree is, let me break it down to you. In legal terms, a declaration is a written statement of the facts that a person signs under penalty of perjury. It is basically the person saying everything I wrote in this document is true to the best of my knowledge, and I understand I can be punished if I intentionally lie. Declarations are commonly used in lawsuits instead of live testimony. So the man, come on. I believe everybody out there is intelligent enough to break that down. That doesn't need any more explaining or deciphering, so on and so forth, right? Let's get to line number 5. The Mexican mafia could murder me at any time if I was not in the SNY program. And so this must be a typo, because it says if I were not in the SNY program and I were not housed separately from the general population. So why would anybody want to do him some harm? Obviously, they must know, and he must know, he done something he shouldn't have done. He said something he shouldn't have said. And this is why he is requesting this safe transportation to have this case remedied, right? So once again, do not be confused that even though this is a civil trial, he done all the telling and debriefing before. He did not tell and debrief for the sake of this trial. He is only explaining his telling and his debriefing as a reason why he needs transfer. Now we will go into exactly, like I said, why he said he made the declaration. He says, during my transfer to San Quentin for trial in 2011. Remember, this is filed in 2012. Prison office, it must be another typo. Prison office placed me on a CDCR bus with the general population. This also took place in 2011 for the prior trial date. Even though the writ of habeas corpus ad testificandum stated that I should not be placed with the general population. So it seems like he had already had a ruling not to put him with the general population. But prison officials disregarded that and still placed, well, let me read exactly what it says. Prison officials disregarded this and still placed me with the general population. Then he goes on to say, even though there is a fence on the bus that separates validated gang dropouts who are SNY inmates from the general population, this is not enough to protect me, because the general population can see me when the guards call out my CDCR number, my name, and my SNY classification. That notifies all Mexican mafia associates of my presence. So clearly, let's stop here and break this down a little bit. This says that he was already spooked because he had already debriefed and he had already told on them. This is his concerns right here. His concerns are clear. He says that the fence is not enough because they still can see him. The general population can see me when the guards call out my CDCR number, my name, and my SNY classification. So, of course, he is admitting that he was SNY in 2011. Then, of course, that last line, that notifies all Mexican mafia associates of my presence. When I arrived at San Quentin, one of the guards asked another of the inmates who was on the bus with me if he was an active gang member. The inmate said he was. The guard then instructed me to follow him. The guards brought over 3 other inmates who were also active gang members to join me. The guards took off our handcuffs and shackles, and then they told us to strip. At that point, the guard asked me if I was a SNY inmate in front of the 3 active gang members. I was required to say yes. Now, I'm going to keep it real, right? No hate. it sounds like, of course, they possibly was playing with Dubs and trying to get him hurt, because they have documentation that says who and what inmate, because Dubs was an inmate. He was no convict. He was an inmate. So they know that that inmate should not be mixed with the convicts. And Dubs goes on to say as much. He says, that placed me in grave danger. For the people who may not comprehend, well, read, write, or spell, we gonna hop up here real quick. This was filed in 2012. So this is 2012. And once again, let's make it perfectly clear. This is a civil suit, but he is talking about something he has already done. This is why he needs safe transportation. He's not doing this for the civil suit. Had he not filed the civil suit, this information would have not been necessary to put into this declaration. Now, he said he was placed with 3 active gang members, and they asked him, was he a SNY? He said, I was required to answer yes. That placed me in grave danger. He says, I believe the only reason the other inmates did not attack and possibly kill me was because they were white. So, currently we've seen Dubs make videos about, I'm jeopardizing his safety. But obviously his safety was already in jeopardy. This was 2012, well before I knew that he liked cheese. His life was in danger way back in 2012. Dubs has been a cheese eater for a while. So you can't say that I am jeopardizing his life. I am merely bringing to the light what was already on the internet. I didn't go seek this out. I didn't expose him with this information. I reacted to this information, which was already out. So why he claimed I was jeopardizing him, I don't know. We've seen many individuals put Dubs on Front Street. You had to do 2 Scoops a while ago who said he clearly had a message from Dubs' former people that Dubs was no good. Dubs, you lying, bald-headed, cheese-eating, closed curtain video making mother. You know I didn't jeopardize you. You was already jeopardized. You told me on the phone that people were sending pictures of a black man holding a gun, basically threatening him and unnerving him, which is why he keeps his curtains closed when he makes videos. He's worried about bullets from the 9, so he does not let the light shine. It's obvious, right? So let's get back into it, man. He says, when I arrived at Chino during my transportation back to Ironwood, the guards placed me and the only other SNY inmate. So we are killing 2 birds with 1 stone, because earlier, I thought at this point everybody knew he was SNY, but somebody left a comment saying, hey, chill, you guys need to basically have a debate and come with paperwork and so on and so forth, and that will prove if he's PC. I thought that was, I thought that was well-known information, but I guess, I shouldn't have assumed that, right? So anyway, it said they placed him and the other SNY inmate who was riding on the bus in a holding cell. Correctional Officer Coons, he's telling on the COs. How do you remember that dude's name? Correction Officer Coons came to a housing interview, which is where the CO asked if you're SNY and who you can cell with. He says, I told Coons I was out for court. He said, good luck, and then walked away. About an hour later, they sent me to a unit to be housed with an active Mexican mafia associate. I told the officer I was SNY. And was I supposed to be there?
And it's funny how people are quick to say, oh, that dude ain't cut from that cloth. That dude was never that. But he asked the cops to protect him. He refused to go in his cell. So you pick and choose what's a lie and what's the truth? I put that on my mom's rest in peace. There has never been a time ever in the history of my life where I refused to go in a cell with somebody. Period.
So had Dubs not spoke up, had Dubs not been astute, paying attention, then Dubs may not even been here to please us with his stories and his lies. Dubs says he asked the officer, am I supposed to be here? The officer said no. Dubs goes on to say, had I not asked that officer if I was supposed to be there, I probably would have gotten killed in the cell that night. These are Dubs' words. So for all you guys out there who are talking about, I'm jeopardizing him, I'm, putting him in the hot seat, Dubs was already in the hot seat. He knows this as well as I do, right? So the question stands to ask, at least me, in my mind. Once again, the first question that popped into my mind when he told me on that phone conversation that Dubs and Gunner, along with myself, had, why the hell would this idiot even hop on YouTube then? If you know what I'm saying, you are in trouble, why would you get on YouTube? Man. So anyway, he goes on to say, I was placed in AdSeg because they said there was no SNY bunks open for me. So once again, he is admitting he is SNY. I spent 3 days in AdSeg. After 3 days, guards placed me on a bus where I learned from other SNY inmates that there was plenty of other bunks available for more SNY inmates. That's crazy. So even the other SNY inmates, it seems like, didn't want you around. I'm kidding. Anyway, this declaration is signed the 23rd of December. Blythe, California. Once again, this is a declaration signed by John Villa, right? So he is admitting, follow the mouse. We got a rat in the house. Follow the mouse. Even though you see it's a mouse, we got a rat in the house.
But somebody went and found a writ that was filed in my civil litigation, civil rights suit, right?
A few moments later.
That writ wasn't written by me. You can see what was written by hand. The initial thing was written by me.
So you see right here, right? John D. Villa Jr. This declaration is signed December 2011. So he knows already his life was in jeopardy, right? I don't know, because I made some videos and then some of them I didn't even put out there because I felt like I was doing the same video over and over, right? So this is what I'm saying, man. Look, I shouldn't even have to do this, but I am. He says, I believe the only reason they did not attack and possibly kill me because they were white. So the only reason they would kill him is because his life was on the line and because of what he had already done. So I said the other day in the video that if I put out a video saying anybody, let's just say Dubs, slapped Mike Tyson. If Dubs had really not slapped Mike Tyson would know that. So Mike Tyson would not be looking for Dubs. You Dubs slap me. Get somebody tell me what the content creator Dubs think. I'm going to kill that guy. The guy, he slapped me. If Dubs did not slap Mike Tyson would know that and he would not be looking for Dubs. So the point I'm trying to say is, regardless of what I say, whoever is supposed to have been wronged, they know it's true or it's not true. So the words from Amir Four-Eyed Urkel, did I do that? They wouldn't be upset with me. I mean, come on, man. His argument is ridiculous, man. The dude's argument is ridiculous. Let's see what else we have here, man. So basically what this looks like is this is a ruling from the judge, and it is pretty much confirming what I just read, and it is commanding the warden pretty much to keep him safe. So it says John Daniel Villa Jr., inmate number J3801, a necessary and material party in the proceedings in this case, currently confined in Ironwood State Prison. A1, that's the cell that he's in, I believe. A1 249, P.O. Box 2199, Blythe, California, 922226. I was there for a while when they was general population, of course, and will be transferred to San Quentin State Prison, San Quentin, California, for the trial in February, because Mr. Villa is a validated gang member, and the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation has classified. So listen, the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation has classified him as a sensitive needs yard inmate. It is it's necessary that a writ of habeas corpus ad testificandum issue commanding the wardens of Ironwood State Prison and San Quentin State Prison to produce Mr. Villa in San Quentin State Prison at a time before trial, which is tentatively scheduled to begin February 21st, 2012. Okay, man, stop, time out. I'm done, right? I'm literally sitting here going through the editing process. I had another ending to do, but I'm stopping right here. That's enough. I mean, everything I said, I believe, is well proven. For any individual who wants to continue to try to pretend that this dude did not debrief and did not incriminate the legends, which was the basis of my video, just does not want to believe it, so we're done right here. I believe I've done enough, man. I want to get this video to you guys and him, man. I don't have to make up anything about this dude. I don't have to lie on this dude. If you guys watched that last video that he put up, he admitted as much that me and this dude was cool. We was cool. He admitted as much that him and Gunner took the bait from the trolls. He talking about they put a quarter in my back. No, they put a quarter in your back. You and Gunner, you guys bit. You guys took the bait. You became disrespectful, and then it was on from there, right? He lied, and as he always does, about me accepting and all that old type of stuff. We talked on the phone. I told Dubs on the phone I am going to make my response video. Dubs was like, okay, man, just do what you have to do. Do what you feel you have to do, man. Anyway, like I said, there's no need to continue to rehash this stuff when I believe it is clear who's lying, who's not, who told, who didn't, man. Anyway, you already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to Life. I hope you enjoyed the video.